Shickety barrel. All right. Here we go. That looks like it's doing it. That's doing it. I need this sucker to come up and random name picker. Okay. All right. Here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem. It is Wednesday. It is the 12th of November. And somehow, despite the fact that implied volatility is high, that the stock is highly owned by retail investors and not institutional owners, the borrow fee on GameStop went to zero for several hours today from open on, and they shorted the hell out of the stock in the pre-market, just off a cliff down below $26. It touched back up close to 27, settled at 26 and change. Sort of, you know, that's where we ended up. They tried really hard to bring it down further, and they could not. Remember, max pain is still $21, so we are definitely well above that. We closed it at 26.84. All right, yeah. I'm not sure what the 24-hour market is doing right now. Where the hell? What did I do with my phone? What did I do with my? Oh, it's right here. Bring up that told 24-hour market on ye old device. Bing, boom. It is sitting at, they put back down to $25.96, so it's at $26 more or less in the 24-hour market. It's still, you know, almost $5 above max pain. That still puts in 8 million plus shares in the money, which will provide quite the bit of gamma come Monday. And yeah, so what do you think, dog? Thinking all right? But today's kind of meh. I really did went sideways. I dumped my options for like a 3-cent loss and then just sat there. I didn't get anything for tomorrow, so I just was frozen. And you know, I think maybe that was what the intention was. I'll probably get back in at open tomorrow, seeing what kind of jazz they're gonna be playing. The other big news is Trump's people announced that they will be setting up a committee to purge all the 3- and 4-star generals. And you might be like, "Oh, okay." Now, this should concern you. This is the type of thing that you do in a dictatorship. This is what you do if you were Maduro in Venezuela or Gaddafi or, you know, any dictator. You look at the leadership of the military and you go, you're a threat to my taking absolute control. I'm going to fire all of you, find some sycophants who are largely unqualified to do that role, and then promote them so they get to become generals. That's a disaster. It's a disaster for democracy. It's a disaster for the military force's effectiveness. It is really bad. And this goes in line with Project 2025, where they want to force every person in the government to sign a loyalty oath to Donald Trump, where now they have loyalty to serving and honoring the Constitution of the United States. So those grizzled old generals and admirals, they're probably going, I wonder if I should park some tanks on Pennsylvania Avenue. That's going to make some headbutts. It should concern everybody. It should concern all of you, that's the type of talk coming out of there. Hey. We're just going to have a great time the next few years, aren't we? Fudge! Woo! Okay. Turn off the after dark. Bink. The other one's off. It is... do you know what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to do a raffle. I forgot to do the raffle on Friday, like I said I was, and I forgot to do it yesterday. But guess what we can do today? We can do the raffle for our Halloween charity show. Remember, we got 2 50-cent wish items and a big, badass sluice box so you can go mining for gold in your stream by your house. And that way you can pay for 10-year-old canned food when the apocalypse hits. So, shall we do that? Shall we do that right now? I think we shall. I think we have the power to do that. That one? There we are. Okay, so, ooh, there's our names. Shabam! We're going to collect them all. We're going to copy them all. Got all 1,411 slots filled here. And put you all in here. Shabam boom. So, from T-Ferg to Moonwad to Sold Out to Robert Hurt to Avocados to Talvin Ford to, you name them all. We've got them all in here. This will be oh, I gotta do the multiple raffle bits here. Okay, so got this guy and number 14, which is that the big one? Must be the big one. Yeah. So the big one. This guy right here. Number 14 is going to be whoever pops up here. Go. Low B. Low B, you're number 14. I think it's like the third time she's won. Well, if you're a big donor, that's what happens. So Low B is number 14. Low B number 14. Okay, so she gets the big one. I know her address. We can do an unboxing of that one. And, oh, I don't even know why I'm drawing this. Number 16, which is the small one. The small one, I got to remove Low B's name from the list. And boom, who's going to get the small one? This little guy. This little soft one right here. I have no idea what it is. Does not feel as exciting as the other one. Robert Hurt. This one's going to Texas. Okay. Robert Hurt is number 16. And then the big giant sluice box. This guy here. This big one. You can get all the gold you want. You can also do gemstones and, platinum group metals and whatnot with your sluice box, which is pretty badass. I remember Robert's name. Sluice box is going to a drumroll. Ding! Talvin 4. My neighbor from just a few miles away. Talvin 4, I have your address somewhere, but you may need to send me a message so I know where to find it. I know what city's got to go to. So Talvin, congratulations on your sluice box. Yay! All right, so Talvin 4. Talvin was the first winner of a raffle we had when we did the charity calendar for Christmas. So he got that guy. So sluice box. All right, Talvin, I can also just drive it up to you and give it to you in person. You monkey butt. So Talvin 4, boom. There, congratulations, everybody. We can unbox the big one since I know Low B's address because she's won in the past. So Low B, find out what this box is, shall we? What could possibly be in this thing? Ah. Well, it's got a zipper thing. It's got some stickers in Chinese here. It's a briefcase, so that's kind of cool. What are you? What are you? You are... Oh my god, it's a drone. It is Young Pro GPS drone. Looks like a Mavic 4 clone. Mavic 2 clone, maybe? Looks like it's got a view screen on the controller. Extra rotor blades. Extra landing blades. Holy cow. So, this is the drone. What do I finish the 50 cent wishes on a friggin' drone? Okay. I have no idea about batteries. It's got a tiny little instruction book here. So, Young Pro instruction manual. Security profile, disclaimer warning, remote control, compass dynamic system. Okay, so it's got the whole works here. How-tos, how to move everything. Also a cheat sheet that's all in Chinese. Is there an English version? There is on the other side. Okay. There's a cheat sheet with all that. Okay, so there was a drone. I was wondering if there was going to be a drone in all this. I knew I'd done 50 cents on drones. Okay, so this is the little guy. Extra landers. It's got a camera. Might be a 4K camera at that. Looks like the camera can be actuated as well. All right. Does it have batteries? It has USB charger. Oh, it must be a battery on board. So you must charge it. Okay. All right. Well, shit, man. Look at this thing. This is pretty badass. You can play I am a Ukrainian soldier with this sucker. Okay, so that goes in there. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Young Pro GPS. What are these? Oh, these are extra batteries. These are the batteries. So this has got, looks like it's got at least 2 batteries, if not a third, inside. So these are the batteries. Dang, Lobie, look at you. Look at you, you get the drone. I knew there was going to be a drone. There had to be. Because I did so many 50-cent wishes on those. So, get yourself a 4K GPS drone. Knockoff brand from China, but it comes with a really cool carry case. So you got that. How badass is that? She's up here somewhere. I don't know where. Not so bad. There you go. There's your 50-cent wish item. Now, when Robert Hurt, when you send me your address, you'll find out what thing will pale in comparison to a fucking drone. So, I wonder what this could be. It'll be like a dish towel or something. That's what you're gonna get. Good times, good times. All right, and then oh, there she is. She's here. Go get him. All right. Rad. Okay. All right. Yeah, monkey. You excited? She just ran that way.
Hey.
Yo, you monkey. She's over there. She went that way. She went that way. She's not under there. I know you're looking for her. There we go. Drone, sluice box, and we don't know what. Tiny and squishy. Maybe it's like a toddler's t-shirt or something. Or a sham wow. Or a pair of delicate panties. I don't know. It's tiny, it's squishy, it's soft, and it's for charity. So, might be a sponge? Doesn't feel like it's folded up if it is. I don't know. It's small, it's squishy, it's not a drone. I can tell you that much. Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah, did the news off the top. Did the giveaway. I guess we're going to the chat, so it'll be the chat time. Confidence Homer says it was a bull trap. Talking about today. So you're first, and it was monkey. She's not in here. She's not in here. Give it up. Give it up, man. Just give it up. Yeah, chill. You sit. You sit. There you go. Okay. It very much well could have been a bull trap today. If we finish 25, there's still like 8 million shares in the money, which is as much as we had in May and June when we had our big volatile weeks. So I think next week still goes bonkers. I'm going to be doing a show next Wednesday with Salvador. We'll probably talk BBBY, but my guess is we'll talk a lot of GME because I think next week is going to be just wahoo. So we'll be doing that. That's going to be next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, I believe, is what we settled on. So look forward to that. And Covetous Homer, options, and did inverse Houston. Well, there you go. See, you would have won today. I'm just like glad it got back up to like $1.09 and I was able to get out because I think I paid $110 for my options, and I'm just sitting on what I had. Rose Moon, we're so back. It's so over. We're so back. It's so over. What? Covetous Homer, Zoinks, am I first? How'd that happen? You were first. XXX, the triple X is here. Any updates on MMTLP and hope the resolution on next bridge? What outcome can be in your plan? Thanks. I have no plan. No updates as of yet, other than it sounds like George and Berta are countersuing. It sounds like also Hudspeth Energy is demanding communications from the University Lands Board regarding the non-renewal of the lease, which could also lead to probably a heck of a lawsuit. That's about it. I don't think there's been anything radical of late for us to go, I think it gets solved in a couple different ways. It gets solved via them getting their S1 approved and then doing NewCo as a blockchain stock subsidiary. So everyone gets these shares on blockchain. Anyone who's not registered does not get the shares, and it forces the shorts to go into the market, into that blockchain market, and buy those things for an insane amount of money, so they can make good on their obligations, on their payment in lieu. That's one way. The other way is one of the lawsuits works out, and the courts go, you're gonna have to pay a huge chunk of money to settle this or whatever. Third is they start pumping oil. Without the university lands, which was like 3.5 billion barrels of oil, I'm not sure what the material value is for the company at this point, because the university lands was the main chunk. So my guess is that there'll probably be some sort of lawsuit between the company and University Lands Board about why they took away the lease. So, that's all we got. Stephanie L, Tuesday night show. What a treat, indeed. I'll probably be doing shows each day because we're in volatility zone, so we always want to hear what's up and what's happening. Iggy Houston, did you set up an interview date to talk about MMTLP with Drew in December yet? Oh shit, I've not done that. We should probably do that since someone was asking about MMTLP just 2 chats ago. Gfont, not investment advice, but making a caller has been a great strategy, selling out of the money calls to be able to buy puts to hedge the downside. Okay, there you go. Monkey, what are you looking for? She's not here. She's gone. She went downstairs. You can hunt for her all day long, but she's not here. Rose Moon. My job doesn't pay college, but they will pay for a $200 Kegel egg. Call that a W. Well, you can sit and watch the show and work out at the same time. Just you watch the show, you're like, Kid Smith, Houston, hoping for issuances of new BBBY shares soon, providing some of us options to relocate. But where? If NATO doesn't include the U.S., where is a safe option to stay safe? It's got to be somewhere where you can get residency easily. Some places allow residency if you have a certain amount of money, right? Or if you buy a property. Portugal's pretty easy. Spain's pretty easy. Italy's pretty easy. Greece is pretty easy. I don't know about any Balkan states like Croatia. But those Mediterranean states are pretty easy. I think Ireland, if you've got enough money, if you have a job, you can do Switzerland or have $5 million in the bank. So there you go. You can also look at protectorates and territories around the world. You know, places like Caymans, Aruba, Barbuda, Barbados, Indian Ocean, like La Reunion. If you want like opportunity European passport as well, Dutch Antilles, things like that. Then there's like living life on the cheap, doing Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. Some of those places had such an experience under an authoritarian that they never want to go back. Like Cambodia does not want to go through the authoritarian, totalitarian dictator thing ever again. Pol Pot ruined people on that. I think nations like Spain and Portugal have left fascisms in the last 40, 50 years, that there's a collective memory of like, we don't want that for ourselves ever again either. So, you know, it's going to be hard for those nations to slip, I think, into such authoritarian regimes. Or you could just, you know, fuck off to the end of the earth and, I don't know, sail to Pitcairn Island or something and just live in subsistence out in the middle of the South Pacific. Yeah, so look at that. I mean, I know like place like Barbados, if you have $100,000, you can buy a Barbados passport. It's not a very powerful passport, but it will give you automatic residency in a tropical locale that every few years probably gets wiped out by a Category 5 hurricane. But, you know, you can use that. You can start collecting passports. If you've got enough money, you can do New Zealand. You can do other nations that kind of accept that stuff. Canada for a long time was if you had $250,000 in the bank, you could head over. I'm not sure if it's changed over the years, but back when I was a kid, my dad lived in Canada. Either had to have a job, which he had, or $250K in the bank, and that allowed you to come and get sort of permanent residency. So a lot of people were fleeing Hong Kong ahead of the transfer from Hong Kong to China, from Britain to China. And so Vancouver was just filling up with Cantonese folks. But you know, yesterday at a press conference, Trudeau government had a press conference saying, "Hey, we're cracking down. Right? We're not going to let people in anymore." So they're cracking down on immigration as well. So you might find a lot of that happening. That a lot of nations are like, you know what, we don't want an American refugee, people, expats fleeing, you know, with privilege fleeing the nation. So, you know, maybe it's one of those things you buy a chunk of land somewhere or a house in one of those nations, and you're not a permanent resident. You just sort of are there a few months a year, and then eventually there all the time, and then I don't know, end up in limbo as America descends into civil war and starvation. So, yeah, I think a really important thing to do is convert your currency. Probably when you get rich, find that offshore bank, or if you're going to move somewhere, and convert your currency into something like, you know, Swiss francs or something, and let that sit, because you can use that anywhere. It is not susceptible to inflation as the dollar has been. And if we really fuck up the economy big time, US dollar may no longer be an international reserve currency, because people will be like, ew, dollars. Why would I want that? So, you know, think about that. Probably find one of those lawyers that do international banking to help people, you know, get their money GTFO'd. And they'll give you lots of advice on that. So, Iglemon, Houston, still no Omex update besides beneficial ownership form on the SEC site. So they did not. I looked at it today. The price went up to like 48 cents, but I didn't see anything about results from their earnings, and I totally forgot to get calls anyway. So good. So yeah, they've not done their earnings yet. Not sure when it's going to be then. Confidence and Homer says options and high volume without a catalyst is a bull trap. Possibly. But if there's a catalyst, which is a Friday $5-6 above max pain, that's catalyst enough right there. See, oh my god, dude with nub. Looks like the bots are swarming the subreddit to get it taken down. Possibly. I enlisted a couple more people to help me mod. I have not had a chance to go on the subreddit and do my own nuking of accounts, but yeah, there is a lot of them, that's for sure. It's gained. We were at 11,000 members as of Monday, and I think we're at 17,000 now. I don't know where everyone's coming from, or who they are, or why the algorithm keeps pushing that sub. Does not make any sense to me. Like, I would love to have 17,000 people currently watching right now rather than the 169 who are, or the 4,000 who will watch it at a later date. But I don't get it. I don't understand at all. Confidence of Homer, or else the shorts watch the show and want to take Houston's money. That's possible. They may want to take my money. Subway Incorporated Super Chats. Drove from Denver to Austin today. I'm so tired. That's a long-ass drive. They just got a bunch of snow. Aren't you at a ski resort? What are you doing going to Austin in the middle of the ski season starting in Colorado? Got like feet and feet of snow up there. That's going to be definitely a long drive. Tankman 142. Top of the evening, Houston. What's next in Houston's GME retirement run 4.0? Play it by ear tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to try to push it down some more. Looks like after hours it pushed it down about another $1. I guess we hang out and wait to see if it gets a little more pop to it. What we need is more in the money call options, short term being purchased, stuff for this week and next week being purchased, like in the money, to force them to go, oh crap, we got to start gamma ramping. And as long as we finish, I think 25 and above, just looking at the options chain here. Let's go back to yield options chain. Remember, max pain is 21. So max pain is here. And we have 2, 13, 21, 24, 31, 33, 60, 63, 64, 76, 78. So we got about 7.8 million shares. Sorry, 74. Yeah, 7.8 million shares in the money as of close today, except now it's down to 25.5, so take off maybe 10 million of those. So 7.5 million shares, 7.8 million shares in the money. Yesterday we were at 28 at some point, so add another 15, 16, 17 million, so almost 1.7 million. So we're at almost 8 million shares at that level, and if for some reason we get to 30, then we max out at like 11, 12 million shares total will be in the money. Even if we're at 25, which is about 6 million shares, that'll still provide a good gamma pump for Monday, which could set off more volatility. We were at just shy of 4 million shares last Friday. So if we're at 25, okay, that's pretty good. 6 million and change above max pain. Yeah, that makes for some good gamma and to get some volatility in there. They could very well, everyone dumps all their options and it drops back down to 21. It's at max pain. They go, oh, fuck you. And that's it. Very possible. I'm just hoping that we're with the way swaps are lined up for the November expirations, that we're just going to have crazy volume at the moment. Implied volatility is still pretty low, in the hundreds, right around at the money. That's not as bad as it could be. It could be at 300% if we had flown from to $30 today. My guess is those were probably about 300%. So implied volatility is still kind of low. Next week is the monthlies, and those numbers are not very big yet for being monthlies. So those are not. People are definitely playing weeklies at the moment and not jumping in and doing crazy monthly options. Again, this stuff only goes up to like $40. It's crazy that the 40s are 84 cents though. That's a little wild. Especially when we're $15 away from that. But we'll see where it goes. Sad Boy Super Chats. They are firing all the snowmakers next week. I got an accounting job doing taxes while I study distressed debt investing in ski resorts our company towns. Oh, bummer, dude. That didn't last very long. I guess if they get 5 feet of snow, they don't need snowmakers for the year. Well, do the accounting. I guess that'll be okay. Bummer you can't spend a season having fun, though. Turkish. Hey, Wade. Where's the money, Hustowski? Where's the money? Frozen Productions. I made over 200% selling a call today. There you go. Confidence of Homer. Shorts will drop at under 25 by the end of the week. Well, some of it doesn't sound too optimistic. Zuma get done with Nub. Hope the Pentagon wakes up. Oh, you and me both. Yeah, it seems to be a very, 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 very terrible situation. You do not want a government run by sycophants. That government will fail miserably and everything collapses. Like, do people look at Russia and go, oh, I'd really like that for me? If you're part of the kleptocracy, fantastic, right? You're like fucking ballerinas and trafficking humans and sailing on mega yachts, and you're great. But if you are one of the 100 million people who are Russian, who is not part of the kleptocracy, you are a mud person. Like, your life sucks. Your average lifespan for a male is like 49. Right? You're just gonna drink yourself to death until you're frozen in a ditch somewhere one winter evening, and then or if you're lucky, you get conscripted, and then you die within 3 weeks of leaving your home in some trench in Ukraine. That's the future that seems that the people want with Trump. Trump in 2014, Trump saw how much money Putin had, and that Putin was the richest man on earth, and he said, "I want that for myself." And so his goal is to create his own kleptocracy that just funnels the treasury into his pockets, and that he gets a piece of action from everything in the country. And then you have a mafia state, and mafia states, they do not do innovation well, they do not do research well, they do not develop well. So you're going to see a massive brain drain of U.S. expertise. If you cut the Department of Education, which Trump wants to do, there goes college. Every college in America collapses. There's no funding to get students into college, so only rich people could go. So that means all of your community colleges are gone. All of your state universities are gone. Most of your private colleges are gone, save for a few elite ones. This will be the ultimate dumbing of America. And so all smart people are gone. Anyone with a PhD, anyone who wants to get a PhD, they will go elsewhere. They will work in France. They'll work in the UK. They will work in Taiwan. They will work in Japan. They're going to leave us behind, and we're just going to be a whole bunch of knuckle-dragging morons under some sort of weird police state where the military is standing on every corner with their M4s waiting for an excuse to blow away some civilians. And that's our future. So, yay us. Way to go, humans. You guys are fantastic. My friend Ricardo, he's a gay man from Ecuador, right? He's Hispanic, he's gay, he's got the wrong color skin, he's a naturalized citizen. He voted for Trump. And I was like, why, dude? Like, they hate you. All of them hate you. They hate you so very much. They will strip you of your citizenship and send your ass back to Ecuador, which is going through basically a narco war right now, and he knows it. Like, that's one of the reasons why he's here, is because the narcos are taking over. And he's like, nah, it won't happen to me. I'm like, you're a gay brown man. Of course it's going to happen to you. He's like, no, I just wanted Trump because it will burn the whole system down. I'm like, okay. So how would that not affect you? He's like, well, America goes into other countries and fucks them up all the time. Now I want America to experience what that's like. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that's as good enough a reason, I guess, as any. But you are going to be the one who gets fucked up before blue-eyed Houston is going to get fucked up. So a lot of people just I don't think quite equate the consequences of this incoming regime. It's going to be unfettered. They've got the House, they've got the Senate, they got the judiciary, and if they get their way, they'll have the military too. And I have a feeling that they're going to do so many executive orders in the first 2 days in office that it will be a blitzkrieg of horrible information that the media won't even have the opportunity to be able to broadcast it to people, because there's going to be only so much bandwidth that we can take in, right? They'll probably be firing huge swaths of public workers. They'll be trying to close entire departments and laying off millions. They'll be trying to fire generals and military officers who could, potentially say, no, I'm not going to do that. It's an illegal order. Think for themselves. They will be instantaneously deporting as many people as they possibly can. Like, it's just going to be such a wave of terrible, terrible things that people cannot comprehend all of it at once, and there won't be enough lawyers to take it up in the courts, and half the time when they do take it up in the courts, it's going to be a pro-Trump judge who's going to be like, he can do whatever he wants, man. And I just don't know how we escape that. I don't know how we make it better. I don't. So find a nice beach somewhere if you got the privilege and you can afford it, I guess. Because it's gonna be a rough one. Confidence and Homer, any idea why DNC establishment keeps running crappy candidates? I don't know if it's necessarily crappy candidates as it is they have no idea how to message to human beings. They were doing fantastic. When they let Walz go out there in August and just shoot his yap, people were like, hell yeah, that's what I want. I want a government that's effective. I want a government that cares about me. And yeah, those people are fucking weird. It was working. And the polls were rising. And of the 4 people involved, like J.D. Vance, Trump, Kamala Harris, Walz was the only one with a positive approval rating. Everyone else did not have a positive approval rating. Harris was slightly higher than Trump. J.D. Vance was in the fucking basement. People hate that guy. But come September, they put a muzzle on Walz, told him to stop talking mean and talking about how government can be effective. And the poll numbers started dropping. The less you saw of Walz, the worse things got. They definitely restrained him in the debate. He kept it too civil. He should have pointed out that J.D. Vance is a fucking weirdo and made him cry. And it did not resonate. It did not resonate at all with the average voter. And boom, there you go. Like if you are not making a message that resonates with the voter, then they're going to tune out. And I guess that's what happened. They did not own up to the economy and how the economy was not working for the average American. Yeah, stock market's at an all-time high, but these people are getting laid off. Those folks, their expenses are too high. No one can afford housing, right? You need to admit those things and say, we stopped inflation. Inflation sucked, but we had to make it hurt for a moment to stop inflation so that life can get better and we can start making this work for everybody. We have Lena Khan. Put that chick out there. Have her campaign. People love her, right? We have Lena Khan making it so that your life will be better under her breaking apart these large companies, and that the jobs will flow from that. You won't have to be beholden to your employer for your entire life. You'll have options to leave because non-compete clauses are gone. They needed to champion the things that they did that helped and got people working, and they just didn't. They instead the narrative was your savings are gone and I'm going to blame the immigrants, which is bullshit, but at least it's an answer, right? And so people gravitated to that. They're like, yeah, screw everyone who doesn't look like me. It's their fault. And not like the white business bros in a bunch of suits. It's all those guys' fault. Like the billionaires consolidating our wealth and continuously and unendingly, that's where the problem lies. Like, if we just ate the rich, your life would dramatically improve the next day. just like, hey, you have $20 billion? That's it. Poof. Problem solved. What are you trying to do, monster? Right, you come on. What are you trying to do? Come on. Get up here. I just want to play with the monkey dog. All right. Yeah. Okay, I just lost the chat here, and I gotta go back up to... Ow! Yes, you can climb me. There we go. Look at you. Look at that little bugger. Yeah? Are you happy, little cat and little purse? Should I put you in the sleepy majebe? Yeah, you want to be a sleeper? You want to be a sleepy majebe? Rose Productions, I'm ex-military. You don't get rid of those with experience. What's his reasoning? I think his reasoning is if you've got grizzled veterans who grew up in fantastic education systems, reading books and knowing their role as a military and a civilian-run government, that they won't obey orders when Trump gives them to kill American citizens. And so the goal is you fire all those guys, you find unqualified people in the junior ranks, and you say, hey, how would you, second lieutenant, like to be a general? Second lieutenant goes, hell yeah, brother. And then he signs a loyalty oath, and all of a sudden he's a general running an entire battalion or 10th Mountain Division or whatever, Pacific Fleet, they have no business there doing it, but they're in charge now because the president has, ordained them in that role. Right, buddy? You'd be like me promoting you to head of household. You have a tiny little walnut brain. Yes, you do. And you wouldn't be able to do that job. But you would gladly be in charge because you're a cat. And you're a greedy, selfish little dummy. Yes. Charles Bronson. I have BBBY shares. But just saying, I don't understand a lot of the positive posts out there. So many small videos of the if you don't know, you don't know. Can somebody help me? Talk, no show, help me. The idea is that the shell of BBBY is going to be used as a SPAC, Special Acquisition Corporation. It's a way of bringing a company public without having to do an IPO. IPOs could be great news for big companies trying to go public, but usually you have to kind of like slob on a lot of knobs and give a lot of shares to people who didn't do any of the work for them to underwrite your IPO. So let's say Goldman Sachs is underwriting an IPO. Suddenly Goldman Sachs gets 20% of the company for doing nothing at all, right? And it's expensive and you don't want to do that. But if you find a company that's shares are already traded on an exchange, you can absorb them through a merger acquisition. You can take their ticker spot, move your company onto the exchange, doing it that way. And plus, there's a boatload of NOLs, net operating losses associated with the company because of bankruptcy. They lost money. Therefore, if you merge with them and you take on the new ticker, or the old ticker, I should say, you get to take their net operating losses and not have to pay taxes on a whole bunch of stuff for years because you have billions of dollars in NOLs. So if you make $100 million in profit and you've got $1.6 billion in NOLs, you don't pay taxes on that $100 million profit for 16 years until you've used it all up, which allows you to keep a lot of money you otherwise wouldn't. So the theory is, and there's lots of different theories, but I think the main one is you have the shell. You sold off Bye Bye Baby. Bye Bye Baby went to an acquisition company. The acquisition company is attached to Ryan Cohen, who owns the debt on BBBY. Ryan Cohen then says, I will forgive the debt on BBBY if I get the company. And I want the NOLs. But if he wants the NOLs, then he gets 50% of the company. And the other debtors and shareholders get the other 50% of the company. And if that happens, then your shares poof back into existence. Ryan Cohen takes the BBBY acquisition company that has Bye Bye Baby and then merges it in, and they go onto the market as BBBY. And everybody gets their shares back. They get a value to it. They might even get a cash element associated with it. They may get shares in another company because maybe GameStop is a parent corporation to BBBY acquisition company. Who knows? There's a lot of different ways it can take. All I care about is that it emerges from bankruptcy in one form or another with the NOLs intact and we get our shares back. That's goal number one. Anything else is just icing on the cake, whether it's cash, equity in a new company, etc. Oh, you're just such a sleepy little purr machine. Aren't you just an adorable little goober? Yeah, you're just an adorable goober. That's what you are. So, and everyone gets a purring kitten. That's what you get. Jason Blackwell, Houston. Abraham Lincoln couldn't tell a lie. Richard Nixon couldn't tell the truth. Donald Trump can't tell the difference. Grand Green, drone. Yes. Low B, hope you're excited for your drone. Coffee, Donuts, and Homer. I hope Trump sends out some stimulus checks like he did during COVID. I need more GME shares and I'm tapped out. Well, that's how you get your inflation, is if they do that. So, hey, get our checks. Milk goes to $8 a gallon. We go, change of government. And it happens all over again. Coffee Dance. Antonio Baez. Might we see a coup? I mean, depends on how much of a pushover those generals are, I guess. Coffee Homer. No, the 1% won't do that. The coup? I don't know. New quarter, a new name. Some random anonymous internet usernames are suggesting that the election was stolen, rigged in favor of the right. Is there any merit to it? Is it still the Russians? The Russians on TASS, which is a Russian news site, they kind of implied that Trump owes them because they won the election for him. It was posted to the subreddit. I don't know if they're just playing on people's belief that the election was stolen, but they kind of implied that that they did it. The 60 plus bomb threats that hit precincts in urban Georgia were from Russia, so that happened. There are some weird tallies, weird undervotes. Usually the undervotes happen when people vote for president and not for a Senate candidate. It appears like the dude who in Senate in Arizona destroyed Carrie Lake, absolutely demolished her, won by 9 points, and Carrie Lake, who got absolutely crushed, she had more votes than Kamala Harris did in a close election for president. That's weird. That's a very weird tally. That doesn't make any sense. That's not usually how it works. Usually the Senate candidates added together have fewer votes than the presidential candidates, but they have more. That's just a very strange thing. If anything, people vote for the president and don't give a shit about down the list. And you'll have usually a couple 100,000 of those. But not this time around. So it's the other way around in almost every single solitary swing state, if not in every single solitary swing state. So yeah, I think there's merit to it. I think there's merit to the argument that this doesn't make sense. And statisticians are all saying, none of this makes sense. How they did it, no clue. If they did it, no clue. It just seems like it doesn't fit the polling data. The polling data had her ahead the entire time, popular vote wise, etc. And then all of a sudden she doesn't win the popular vote. Had her ahead in every single one of those swing states, and all of a sudden she didn't win a single one of those swing states. That's just weird. That's very weird. It's a very weird thing to have. Like, to get all of them that wrong is very strange. So, if there is stuff going on in the background, and we don't know about it, that might be the case. But Democrats are kind of pussies. They're big giant pussies. And they don't want to like make waves or like fight for things they should, and they go, oh, we have to keep the norms going, and the norms get their ass kicked with norms every single time. So, yeah, oh kitten, you are dead asleep now. He's a little dead asleep kitten. Yeah. Low B comes in here, just got here. Drone, I'm intrigued. Just got here. Yes, you won a drone. Fancy. Looks like a Mavic clone. It has its own controller. Oops, which way is it? Yep. So it's got its own case, own foam case, controllers, extra batteries, you name it. 4K camera, I believe. So you now are the coolest kid in your neighborhood. And you have your own special little drone kit. Cool. Excellent. Right? Oh, you sweet little cat. Look at you, you little booger face. You little snot bucket. All right. Yay. No. Did that one. Jason Blackwell, very jealous of Talvin 4. P.S. The beaches are beautiful on Talvin 4 in the Andromeda Galaxy. Covington's Homer says 141 people watching, 3 likes. I have no idea how many likes. So now we're at 187 right now. So looks like Lil B brought her entire family in here. Coffee Does Homer says crappy candidate. Hillary 2.0. Out of touch with Main Street. All Democrats are out of touch with Main Street. I mean... But then again, Main Street is also out of touch with everything else. You have these unions who hate the most pro-union president we've had probably since Jimmy Carter. You know, $35 billion to bail out the Teamsters, fighting to protect, you know, Amazon workers, Starbucks workers, folks trying to unionize their shops, helping them get unionized in Tennessee, right? Supporting the actors and the writers and hotel workers. And then all of a sudden you got these unions, and the unions are like, no, we aren't going to endorse anybody. And then they embrace Trump, and Trump's like, I'm going to make everything right to work. Fuck your unions. And they're like, oh, biscuits. Like, the fight was gone from Main Street to begin with. So, if people aren't willing to do what it takes to make their lives better, and they aren't going to listen to the folks who are going to try to do some modicum of making their lives better, I don't know what to do. I mean, the number of folks who Googled what is a tariff after the election, right? And then and Latino voters who are finding out that their parents are going to get deported, they're like, that's not what I wanted, right? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to make people read ahead of time. I know they're watching The Bachelor. They're watching America's Got Talent. They're playing their video games. And, we are a minority, you, me, 185 people in this thing right now, that read. We read newspapers. We read books. We read periodicals. We seek out information because it helps fill our brain. Most Americans are not like that. 99.99999% of Americans would not watch a show like mine if it was on TV, because they'd be like, oh, this guy talks about stuff in the news. I don't want that. So that's what you get. You make the schools worse and worse, and then uneducated voters will vote worse and worse, and eventually you get your idiocracy, right, monkey? Right? You know it. I know it. Bob Dole knows it. So she's looking. Monkey Butt wants a pig ear. Should we give Monkey Butt a pig ear? Do you want a pig ear? Yeah. Her eyeballs are shifting over there. She really wants one. So looks like I got maybe 2 in here. Yeah. One of those bad boys. That's a little one. Maybe I'll give you 2 of them. Oh, I'll give her all of them. Yes, I will. Whoop! Oh no, kitten slipping away. You can't have that. Kitten can't slip away. Oh, I'm so sorry, kitten. Here, I'll put you back. Put you back in the little bassinet here and let you. Oh yes, she's so soft. She's such a soft little kitty. Yeah. Did you finish it already? Oh, you got more. Okay. Catherine, breaking: Trump announced Elon as head of Department of Government Efficiency. Wild times coming, but my Doge is finally in the green. Lol. Oh yeah, it'll be great. It's a great time to be a crypto holder. The crypto bubble is going to be huge. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so gigantic. Right, little buddy? Right? Don't you want a cat coin? An Imuna coin of some kind? Will that help you out? Fresno Productions, can we get the BBBY lawyers on MAC case? Texas board, they seem pretty good. I don't think we could afford them. So we can try, but I don't think we can afford them. MS Houston, well, hope gone for the EPA. The other 3-letter agencies, will he neuter? They'll try. They were talking about having that douchebag who was the FCC guy, Patel, and having head of CIA, and then they announced an old spy who worked in counterterrorism during the Bush administration as CIA head. You don't fuck with those people. They take down governments all the time. And my guess is they've got lots and lots and lots of dirt, and they'll be able to blackmail Trump any day of the week and out that dirt. And I don't know why they weren't a little more forward-thinking. But if they're going to try and shut down CIA, NSA, FBI, DEA, ATF, those guys aren't going to play around, and they know where the bodies are buried, and I think they may act accordingly. So Trump might be too scared to actually go through with that stuff, and that may piss off a whole bunch of the far right people. But The far right people all have a bunch of FBI people in their circle anyway, because they've had undercover operatives and what do you call them? Informants in their midst the entire time, right? Oh, do you want one more? Last one, monkey. Come here. Come on. Yeah, there you go. All right. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, Houston. Your crystal ball predicting GME gonna save us from the big crash coming. Just need the hype. I don't know what Ryan has planned. If things do go bonkers next week, I'd have little doubt he would dilute more. He probably would dilute a Friday before open, another 40, 70 million shares or something, because he'll net another couple $1 billion, and he'll set the floor price higher on the stock. But what we really want is, oh, we're going to murder me because I'm playing with your tootsies? Well, what we really want is we just want like 2-3 weeks of volatility back. We want everything to go bonkers. That's what we want. Oh, just massage the toe and then your eyes go out. Little mouth open. Oh, making fun of you? I'm making fun of you? Oh, she's such a sweetie. Isn't she, monkey? This is your sweet little cat right here. Yeah. Coffee, donuts, and Homer. IRS will get downsized bigly. Yeah. And then people won't pay their taxes. And then the government will have revenue fall. And then we'll be like Greece where nothing functions. And everybody's pissed off all the time. So, yay. Robert Pierpoint, I just watched an older expat lady living in a big, beautiful home with a big, beautiful paradise-like yard. And she pays $100 a month. Yep, those things are true. I think if you're young, you can probably live anywhere for 20, 30 years, be fine. If you are middle-aged and older, you're going to look at places that have decent healthcare systems. That's why, an EU country that's got universal healthcare can work really well. It gives you a powerful passport, and you don't have to worry about health insurance. You don't have to worry about like hospitals being 100 miles away. I think I told you about, we had a neighbor who he retired to Costa Rica. Costa Rica's got a pretty good healthcare system in the urban areas, but if you're out in the Tules, it doesn't exist. And he ended up dying from a heart attack because he was too far away from a hospital to get treatment. If he had been in an urban area, he probably would have been fine, but he was hours and hours and hours away in this little Pacific coastal town, and just they couldn't get him to someone in time to save him. And so you got to think about that. Got to take that into account. Like, oh, you eat your tail? You want to eat your little tail? You tickle your nose with your little tail? Think, put that in the consideration loop. Just Bodies Houston, between Fuentes and Bardella, what is it with these far right dudes and out of control bowel movements? Origin stories, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've shit myself twice as an adult. I was ill enough that, you thought I was going to be solid, or just nice little toot, get one out there, and you're like, oh, I am now in a place I should not be. It happens. But to do so in front of all the kids in your school while running the mile, that is legend. So that is a villain origin story if I've ever heard one. Right, kitten? Yes, you floppy little... I wish I was that limber. Right up your point on in Java. So she was in Java living for $100 a month. You move to a place like Indonesia, you're probably gonna have cost of living be fantastic, especially if you've got hard currency dollars. But you get earthquakes, tsunami, volcanoes, oppressive heat because you're on the equator. So you pick your poisons there and see what you're willing to put up with. They're basically going to take Jakarta and move the entire capital to another island because Jakarta's sinking into the ocean. So they're moving. They have a plan to move the capital to another city on not Borneo, but what's the other island? Crap. Bring up the Google Earth. We'll find that spot. The urban center of Indonesia is going to rapidly change when they finish building their designated capital. But yeah, they're expecting Jakarta to be underwater with sea level rise Okay, go there. Google Earth. On. What's the name of that island? This one. I think this is where they want to put the new capital. In Sulawesi. Sulawesi. I think this is where they're putting it. So Jakarta, over here, one of the biggest cities in the entire world, is on basically a giant floodplain, and the ocean's creeping in, and everything's just getting wet, and so they're going to take the capital, all the main businesses, they're going to move it all the way over here. I think somewhere over here is one they want to build the new capital, and then who knows what happens to the Javanese economy after that, but yeah. Look at this booger. Look at this thing. She loves having her belly rubbed. It's like, oh, it's pure heaven, isn't it? You know, somebody would rub my belly. Just rub my belly, scratch my head, let me just nap in various positions, and I'd be a happy, happy boy. MS says, wait, hey, today isn't Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, but we are on volatility time, so we're probably doing shows every day this week, if we can. I might go for like another 27 minutes or so. I don't even make it a very long show. We'll do an hour and a half show. Yeah, because my arm's going to get tired eventually, even though you were so cuddly and warm. Mass Awakening. We still on AMC GME. I thought we can't do anything because the market makers can avoid margin calls. Volatility will still be there. I don't really do AMC. AMC, I think, is out. Until they pay off all their debt, their stock's not going to be worth it. But GME, the volatility will still be there. I think any volatility gets killed by the company itself with share offerings and not from the market finally buying back shares. So we would have MOASed twice if they hadn't diluted on those 2 Fridays back in the spring. MS says, Houston, did billionaires vote for Trump because they think he'll raise value of U.S. dollar? No. They voted for Trump because he's going to crash the U.S. dollar. Look up Curtis Yarvin. He is the guru to Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, that sailor dude from MicroStrategy. They want to crash the U.S. dollar, so inflation goes insane, and everyone has to use Bitcoin as a global currency, so their Bitcoin value goes through the roof. And because the U.S. dollar is worth so little, and we kick out all the immigrants, we can have American citizens working like Chinese people in factories. So we can bring back manufacturing in the U.S. because they can work us for 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for gruel. And that's the future they want. That's what they want. They don't want democracy. They want a monarchy. And they think the Trump family will be the next monarchists moving forward and can take over. And then we can just don't have to worry about voting. It'll just be an oligarch class of billionaires, tech billionaires who run everything. And they'll live in utopia and we'll live in squalor. And woo! Yeah. Craig Green says Reddit is ass. It can be. First Day Productions. There's a dude who specializes in finding places for Americans abroad. I'll try to remember his name. Okay. What do you think? Huh? Yeah? Oh, my arm is so tired. But you're so cute. Coffee Donuts and Homer. I flew from Denver to Austin, and boy, are my arms tired. Oh. First Day Productions. Have you seen the movie Slingshot? I was entertained, but the reason going to Jupiter's moon for resources pulled me away, knowing the moon has all that helium-3. I have not seen the movie Slingshot. I haven't even heard of Slingshot, so no, I have not seen that. But if you're referring to Slingshot's orbital mechanics, it is using a planet or moon's gravity to accelerate yourself around that planet so you can reach a higher escape velocity from the sun and move further out into space. So we use slingshots all the time. We'll slingshot things around the moon, slingshot things around the Earth, slingshot things around Mars, and sort of fling them further out into deep space to get to, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, generally actual deep interstellar space. MS Houston. I wonder what the real amount of money is for counterfeit meme stock shares. unlimited, because you can mint as many as you want, and you just tie it to the exact price of the stock at the time, and then you peel off capital value or market share value of the stock for dummies who for some reason want to own a share that has nothing behind it. I mean, it's a great scam. It's a fantastic scam. We could set up a coin, say it's, one coin is worth 1 ounce of gold. We've got the gold to back it up. And then we sell all the coins at the price of gold, whatever the spot price of gold is, we sell the coins for that. And then we say, we have a warehouse somewhere, and it's got all the gold. So every time you buy one of these coins, we go out and we buy gold with it, and we keep that backed up. But in reality, we don't do shit. There's no warehouse. There's no gold. All we do is we just keep collecting your money, and then we buy ourselves yachts and private islands and, scantily clad girls and Bugattis. But we're registered offshore in a country that does not care about financial crimes. And so if the U.S. government goes, oh, that's not right at all, and they launch an investigation, they can't do shit about it because it's offshore. We're in a different country. We're somewhere where their laws don't apply. They can't seize our wealth. We've got shell companies, and for the last 10 years, we've amassed $100 billion in cash, and we're done. Oh, you're falling. You're falling, little buddy. So, it's a great scam. You can mint 500 billion AMC tokens, sell them all at $4 or $5 AMC is trading at, net yourself $1 trillion. Right? Oh yeah, no, it's 1 for 1 with AMC. It totally is. You can just lie. Like, you're never going to give them a stock certificate. So, who gives a shit? Right? Oh, look at that, buddy. It's just out cold at all times. I know. Lucas, 658. Hi, this is a random message. But I saw a surge in bot accounts posting misinformation on election fraud. I studied how bot accounts did this for the last election, and it's happening again. That may be happening as well, yeah. Lucas says, please moderate your subreddit. Well, I got some more moderators in there. We'll get the moderating done. Copy does a homer. Ryan Cohen for SEC is chairman. That's not going to happen. They're going to pick somebody who does not regulate, who believes in deregulation, and is a sycophant for corporatopia. Lucas 658, Russian bots are posting misinformation in your subreddit. I can show you how to address it and purge them. Please, please, please do something. I watch my family go insane. Don't let the Dems go the same way. Noted. Mike C. Elon is going to axe so many government employees. And the country is going to collapse its GDP. People don't understand this. That the U.S. government, $6 billion a year in spending. Our GDP is $21 billion a year. So more than a third of all GDP is government spending. So you wants to cut $2 trillion from the government. Okay, you just eliminated 10% of our economy. That is global financial crisis. 8% of our economy, it's 4.9% of our economy disappearing. In 2008, collapsed the global economy. So if you're going to collapse the U.S. economy by 10%, everyone's eating cat food, if you're lucky to find cat food. That is layoffs. That's unemployment at 15% with no prospect for new job growth. That is everywhere in the world, basically, the largest consumer economy in the world is no longer a consumer economy. So China collapses, Japan collapses, Germany collapses, UK collapses. Every nation on earth basically collapses at that point. Plus, you're going to kick out 22 million undocumented immigrants, which will destroy another 8 to 12% of the economy. So narrow down 20% or more. That's Great Depression era. That's a contraction of the government that you do not bounce back from for decades. So, yeah. They're so stupid. They're so goddamn stupid. They always want to run government like a company or a business, No, you need people who run government like a government. Government's role is not to make profit. The government's role is not to maximize revenue. The government's role is to provide services that makes people's lives better. That's it. That's the entire government role. Protect the citizens, make their lives better. And we're going to be cutting stuff. We're going to be cutting the Department of Education. We're going to be cutting National Institutes of Health. We're going to be cutting, Health and Human Services. We're going to be cutting the CDC. We're just going to cut, and you don't bounce back from that. It took us 200 years to build the infrastructure we have, and now you're just going to cut it. And immediately, put millions of people out of work. Their pensions are going to vaporize. You're going to cut the FICA taxes, and you make it so that there's no Medicare, no Medicaid, and no Social Security within 3 years. And then what? What do you do? What do you do? You die, right, kitty? Oh, that was a terrible jump. I know you're sleepy. Yes, that was a terrible jump. Cattail karaoke, small cat style. So, Silver Box. As a spectator to the leopard-eating faces, I'm enjoying the first week of it. If there's a silver lining to a Trump presidency, it's going to be 4 years of leopards eating faces. I mean, you might as well get your schadenfreude out of it, right? So, that's one thing to look forward to. It's like, I told you it's going to happen. So I got a little dopium release, and you and I can both die up against the wall. And that was a smile on my face. Mike C, massive dumpster fire, but it's entertaining. Yeah. Lucas658, they're posting false claims election fraud. You can identify them by seeing how small their post history is with a crazy spike in posts in the last week. I will take a look see at that tonight. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, buddy? You're clawing at my thigh, and my thigh is sensitive. It does not like spikes digging into it. Sincere 206 Houston, just want to say I take no joy in predicting Trump would beat Harris. Bigotry runs this country. That is also a very true thing. Mike C, Jesus, your buddy's going back to Ecuador. That's what I kind of tell him. He's like, no, not going to happen to me. I'm like, it's going to happen to you. That Canadian dude, is it the Ricardo? It's a Ricardo. Coffee Noodles and Homer, Schadenfreude. Sorry, I always say Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is how it's actually truly pronounced. Every morning when I read the paper or watch the news. Lucas58, can people see my messages? Yes, people can see your messages. Silver's Box, on the 45th Prez term, it was like watching a train wreck on himself. On the 47th Prez term, it's going to be like a longer train wreck to see. I'm just afraid I won't have enough popcorn from higher prices. It's going to be less of a train wreck and more of like Hurricane Katrina, but on a daily scale. We're going to be so overwhelmed with awful, shitty, inhuman news that we're not going to be able to process it. We're not going to be able to absorb it, and then we'll just be hit with the next thing again. And the next thing, and the next thing. It's just going to be storm surge coming in, wave after wave after wave, and all you're doing is just trying to keep your head above water so you can't pay attention to the tragedy all around you. And that's the game plan. That's what they're trying to murder my toes. Get the Costco socks. There you go. That's their MO. That's how you beat a populace into submission. So, yay. Reset of the chat again. Where did Confidence Homer, he needs an intern and an air conditioner. I need all those things. And Lucas is still giving the advice on the subreddit. I'll try to take care of some of that stuff. Yep. So Low B, yes, Low B. Low B's a moderator on there, so you can send her messages as well. Yeah, the Russian bots have been in that thing since I. You can look at I look at the insights, and in the last 7 days, I personally, just me, because I've been the only mod on there since the beginning, 8.9 thousand comments. That's how much I have done on that thing. I'm actually down 15 pounds right now. Do you know why I'm down 15 pounds? I've lost 15 pounds in weight in the last 6 weeks, solely because when I wake up, I'm spending so much time deleting accounts from the subreddit that I miss breakfast. That's it. That's my entire weight loss strategy. Why I'm 15 pounds lighter than I was 6 weeks ago is because it's taken so much of my day to delete things from that subreddit. It's crazy. We're at 17,000 and change. How many people are at this thing now? I got the notice this morning it was 17,000, which is just insane. 18,000. So we're up 7,000 users since Monday. Number one. We're now number one in creators and influencers. Holy crap. What the hell? We are the most trafficked subreddit for creators and influencers on Reddit. What the what? What the what? Oh my gosh. How the hell does that happen? I guess the Russian bots really pushes our rankings up there. Just absolutely insane. There's subreddits that have like 4 million people in it, and we're getting more traffic than them. It's crazy. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. I just don't know. It's wild. So I got to broadcast that out there. We're number one. Woo! It means nothing. I do not have 18,000 people in the show right now. There's 176 of you. So I guess maybe I'm terrible at doing clips. If any of you are very good at doing clips, by all means, take some clips of the show, throw them into the feed on the subreddit. Maybe people will be like, oh, maybe watch this guy with all the books in the background and animals climbing all over him. I have no idea how you translate a Reddit channel into income, but being the number one most trafficked page for influencers and creators seems like that should mean something, like in the grand scheme of things. I don't know. Pay for my move into a manor house in the Mediterranean. Shane E, my tuxedo kitten Rambo still likes to be held like that, except he's a giant fat ass now. Oh, the way she eats, she's gonna be she's gonna make this guy look like a petite little cookie, right? This giant lard butt. Actually, he's not that lardy. He's mostly type 1 body weight for, like, you meet like big beefy farm boy. That's him because of all the prednisone. He's just a lot of dense muscle and water weight. But, asthma. Crane just saw your comment above. Where did Mr. Crane comment? I don't see it. I'm in live chat, so I should be able to see that. Greg, if we took all the money in the U.S. and spread it equally, how long do you think it would take to go back to the way it is now? Ooh. Spread it out so everybody has an equal amount, and then you climb back up, people climb back up. It'd probably take several generations, because generational wealth is usually how you build great wealth. Every single one of the billionaire class, their daddies invested in their brainchild companies. Elon Musk's daddy was a Zip2 angel investor. Jeff Bezos' daddy was an angel investor in Amazon. Mark Zuckerberg's daddy was an angel investor in Facebook, right? And it didn't take, Jeff Bezos' parents weren't millionaires. And Zuckerberg's parents weren't millionaires, but they were wealthy. Zuckerberg's dad was a very wealthy, successful dentist, and he had $125,000 he could give to his son, so his son could start a company, right? That's something that the average person does not have. If I were to start a company right now, no one in my family, my parents wouldn't be like, here's $300,000. Good job. We will take minor equity in your company. They don't have that kind of wealth. They can't do that. So it does come down to the privilege of having, a daddy who can throw you some bones when you have an idea. Most folks don't have that. So, if we go to zero, everybody has $50,000 a year salary. Doesn't matter who you are. Where's it going to go from there? Well, folks have ideas for businesses. They're going to go get their little small business loans. They're going to find investors to help them out, and they'll start their restaurants and their manufacturing companies and whatnot. Some of those will fail. Some of those will grow bigger. They'll get successful employees, successful executives. And, once money starts rolling in, you'll start to see pay disparities amongst them all. But to get where we are now, it'll take probably 3 generations, maybe 4. Because just look at the tax brackets from the 50s and 60s. 91% top tax bracket. That meant if you made more than $400,000 in 1956, right, that 91% of that over $400,000 you were paying in taxes. And you didn't actually pay that in taxes. What you did was you created giant philanthropic foundations. Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, John T. and Catherine MacArthur Foundation, right? You created these huge, giant foundations. You poured all your money into it as a tax loophole, and you got to decide where it got spent. Education, land conservation, libraries, whatever. And so rather than actually taxing folks at that level, you had huge philanthropic foundations that made lasting changes across the landscape. Almost every small town you go to, you will see a Carnegie library. There's a beautiful one up in Port Angeles, not too far from me. And that's stuff that was built with that. So it was a way of sort of forcing these groups, if they weren't going to pay taxes, they're at least going to have to do some good in the country. Well, you have some big, we got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and I guess it's just Gates Foundation now because Melinda split off on her side. But we've got some big foundations, but it's nothing like what was created during the robber baron era. I think that $400,000 translates to about $13 million today. So you could be at a nominal tax rate, 30%, 37%, whatever, up to $13 million, and anything above $13 million, you're paying 91, which would cause like the average NBA player to pay 91% taxes on anything above $13 million. Your actors who are making $20 million a movie, well, they pay 37% up to $13 million, and then they're paying 90% above that. We eroded that with Reagan. We slashed that top tax bracket. We made so many loopholes available that now those folks pay way less taxes per the share of their income than the rest of the population. So the tax burden is shifted to the middle class from the wealthy class. People are like, well, the wealthy, they pay 30% of all taxes in existence. Well, they have 90% of the wealth. So, right? And then in the 80s, we started figuring out we could offshore all of our wealth. So they when you look at somebody and like, oh, that's so-and-so, he's worth $1 billion. He's worth $1 billion that we know of, right? He's got his registrations, these public companies. I own 9% of this, 5% of that, right? But he probably has 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 billion offshore that's now working. That money is working in hedge funds and through holding companies that have no ownership notifications as to that person controls that. The only reason Bezos, Gates, and Musk are the 3 richest people in America is because they own majority stakes or large stakes in giant corporations. We have no idea what they've done with the cash. They could have all sorts of offshore apparatus going on. They could be worth $1 trillion offshore. The wealthiest billionaires in the U.S. are worth something like $6 trillion. But we've offshored $40 trillion. More than $40 trillion now. So, that tells you exactly how rich some of these people really, really are. that They've got hundreds of billions stashed in tax shelters all over the world. In 2014, Vladimir Putin had a net worth of $400 billion. He was the richest man on earth in 2014 because he had taken everything out of Russia and offshored it. He's got bank accounts all over the world. The Panama Papers and the Pandora Papers showed us exactly how the Russian oligarchs were doing that. So, basically he probably has about the equivalent of the entire Russian GDP in offshore money all over the world. And hopefully most of that stuff's been frozen by international law enforcement. But yeah, it's messed up. It's very messed up. And it's a very, 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 very unfair system that you and I don't get to play with because we don't have the type of money that you can afford to get those loopholes going. So we pay our taxes out of our paychecks, and then we beg for like $700 back at the end of the year. And when we get it, we go, oh boy, I can finally get my root canal or my eyes fixed or whatever. Meanwhile, Donald Trump paid $750 of taxes on like $50 million in income in 2014. That's the world we're in. And we voted for him. Okay. I can do a couple more, and then Houston's going to pack it in. Chad Williams, what do you think about Kamala only winning states without voter ID? There's only a couple states that have voter ID. So when you say she only won states without voter ID, it's like, okay, she won 48 states? Because most of them don't have voter ID. List of states with voter ID. What do we have here? Voter ID required. So she lost West Virginia. She lost Iowa. She lost North Dakota. She lost Wyoming. She lost Arizona. None of those states have photo ID, and she lost all those. So she didn't win only states that have voter ID laws. She also lost Nevada. Nevada doesn't have voter ID. Where ID? She won New Hampshire. They've got voter ID laws. She won Rhode Island, that has voter ID laws. So no, that's the only thing. The thing about most voter ID laws is that they are not done in a way that gets everybody the chance to vote. They're largely done in a way to keep people from voting who do have a right to vote. Alabama is a great example of it. So let's see here. Alabama. Here we go. Okay. So, like Alabama in 2011. Whoops, that is totally Indonesia still. There we go. So Alabama in 2011, they passed a voter ID law. And then they immediately closed 64 DMVs in basically black neighborhoods, black communities. So that you have to require people to have an ID to vote, but you make it now impossible for people in Democratic areas, black areas, to get IDs so they can vote. That's what a lot of these voter ID places do, is that they're like, oh, we want our elections to be safe and secure. But then they immediately just close all the access people have to getting IDs, so then they can't vote. So, and they're like, oh, we closed the DMV, but they can go to the courthouse and apply there. Okay, so you can go to the courthouse, right, to go get your ID, but the courts are overloaded, and they don't have time to put you on the docket to just go in front of a judge so the judge can grant you an ID. Right? If you now, your ID expires and you have no way of renewing it, you are not allowed to drive somewhere to another community to get your ID done. So now you're a criminal if you're driving without your renewed ID. So you're trying to go out to get arrested. Boom. It says on suspended license, you now are facing jail time, fines, etc. So what happens is people just don't get their ID, and then they can't vote, and then they can't participate, and then you get runaway elections in these red states where minority voter participation is garbage. So, you know, the whole like voter ID, we're gonna make sure Americans are voting and everything, is never actually done as a way to ensure people can vote. It's done as a way to keep people from voting, because Republicans win when voter suppression is enacted. Disenfranchisement is the name of the game. That's why you saw voters purged from rolls against the law within 90 days of an election. And those voters, like, oh, well, you know, they're probably moved out of state. And it turns out they're illegal voters, that they never actually purged illegal voters in any of those purges. It wasn't, you know, illegal aliens or immigrants of any kind. It was voters. It just happened to have ethnic names. It was voters who happened to live in neighborhoods that were majority Democratic. You don't see lawsuits where Republicans are like, I got kicked off of voter rolls, because Democrats don't do that. Only Republicans purge people from voter rolls, and they never purge their own voters. They always purge the opposition's voters. So disenfranchisement is a huge name of the game. Millions and millions and millions. Over 1 million Democratic voters were purged from voter rolls in Florida. 1 million. There used to be a pretty 50-50 alliance, Democrat to Republicans in Florida, and they kicked 1 million off, and Republicans added 500,000. So Republicans now have a 1.5 million voter advantage in Florida. Same thing in Georgia, same thing in North Carolina, same thing in Ohio, same thing in West Virginia, same thing. Like, it happens again and again and again. So basically what you're saying is Kamala won in the states where voter rights were protected, and she lost in the states where voters were purged or they couldn't get IDs because they closed the DMVs in their neighborhood. And it's kind of telling on yourself there. I think everything should. I think mail-in ballots are a fantastic way to go. You have a mail-in ballot. You get it. You can drop it off at a ballot box, or you can just put it in the mail and send it. And voter participation goes through the roof. You get huge turnout, and you just match the signatures or whatever. And you know, I think we should encourage people to participate. I think we should have things like other Democratic states where you don't get a tax refund if you don't vote. If you don't vote, you're not getting any money back from the government. If you don't vote, you're facing a $100 fine. If you don't vote, you know, your property taxes go up by 20%. Like, make it painful for people not to participate, so that they have to. They have to get in there. They have to learn what the hell is going on. Because if they find out, like, oh my God, if I don't participate, I'm going to get punished. They're going to figure out what the hell's going on and who enacted that law. And like, I want people to participate. I want them to have to participate. And if they don't, they're going to have to pay to not participate. Okay. I'm over 90 minutes in. I'll be doing a show tomorrow. I'm not sure what time exactly. Probably after market close for sure. Not like anything's going on. It's piss and rain for the next like 8 months here in Seattle. So I'll see you guys later. I'm going to try and do some murdering over on the subreddit before I go to bed, but then wake up early so I can stare at the little graphs going up and down all day long, and hopefully, you know, get my egg, get my nut. Okay. You guys have a great night, and I will check you later. Boom. It's over. I should probably end.